Many years ago, in a small village in Nigeria, lived a beautiful young woman named Amaka. She was kind and hardworking, and many young men in the village wanted to marry her. But Amaka's heart belonged to a young hunter named Chibuzo. He was strong, brave, and very handsome. Amaka and Chibuzo were deeply in love. One day, Chibuzo went into the forest to hunt, as he did every week, to provide food for the villagers. But this time, he did not return. The villagers searched everywhere for him but could find no trace. After many weeks, they sadly concluded Chibuzo must have been killed by a wild animal. Amaka was devastated. She sobbed and wailed for days, refusing to eat or drink. She mourned Chibuzo deeply. He was her one true love, and she felt she could never marry another. Weeks turned into months, and still Amaka remained cloistered in grief. She grew thin and frail. Her parents worried she would join Chibuzo in death if she did not move on. They begged her to consider the other young men pursuing her hand in marriage, but Amaka refused them all. Then one night, Amaka was awakened by a strange sound outside her hut. She went to the door and cautiously peered out. A ghostly figure hovered in the moonlight. Amaka gasped, but did not feel afraid. There was something familiar about the spirit. When it spoke her name, she instantly recognized the voice of her beloved Chibuzo. Overjoyed, Amaka ran to embrace him, but her arms passed right through his transparent form. Chibuzo explained his fate. On that disastrous hunting trip, he had become lost, chasing an antelope, and fallen to his death in a ravine. But his spirit could not rest peacefully until he knew Amaka had moved on. Though it pained him greatly, he had come to urge Amaka to marry another man. Heartbroken again, Amaka swore she could never take another husband. The two lovers parted in sorrow, unsure if they would meet again. In the following weeks, Amaka's family grew desperate. She was slowly wasting away from heartbreak. Then her parents had an idea. They went to the local witch doctor and asked if he could unite Amaka with Chibuzo's spirit. The witch doctor hatched a plan. Gathering rare herbs and oils, he performed rituals over one of Chibuzo's spears, still kept in his childhood hut. The witch doctor summoned Chibuzo's lingering spirit to inhabit the spear. He assured Amaka that her beloved now resided inside it. To cure Amaka's broken heart once and for all, the witch doctor gave her the enchanted spear to marry. Though odd to wed an object, it meant Amaka could be joined to Chibuzo forever. Amaka lovingly ritualized her marriage to the spear. She carried it with her, slept beside it, and tended it like a husband. Knowing Chibuzo's spirit was there gave her great comfort. Her health and energy returned, but some in the village whispered about Amaka and her strange marriage to a spear. They called her the mad girl who wed a ghost. Amaka's parents scolded those spreading rumors, explaining it was the only way to save their daughter from grief's grip. In time, Amaka healed enough to resume a normal life. She worked hard, carried water from the stream, and gathered firewood, always with the spear strapped to her back. She spoke to it constantly, sharing stories and singing songs. When Amaka slept, she dreamed Chibuzo held her in his arms again. His ghostly presence even warded off unworthy suitors who still pursued her. Amaka was grateful for this small miracle and honored her marriage completely. Years passed, and Amaka's ghost husband remained faithfully by her side. But her parents still wished for her to find living companionship. One day, a trader from a faraway village came peddling his wares. The outsider had heard the tale of the girl who married a ghost. He was instantly smitten with Amaka's beauty. Against her parents' warnings, he pursued her insistently, offering many gifts. At first, Amaka politely declined the trader's advances, but he would not give up. He returned again and again, showering her with compliments and trinkets. Amaka's willpower waned. She began meeting him in secret. One night, overcome by passion, Amaka succumbed to the trader's embrace. But just before their lips touched, the spear shook violently. Amaka heard Chibuzo's angry cries. Ashamed of betraying her ghost husband, Amaka fled home. She begged his forgiveness, swearing to devote herself fully again. The spear soon settled, but Chibuzo's spirit seemed distant in the following days. When the trader returned, eager to pick up where they left off, Amaka refused him. She said her only loyalty was to her ghost husband. The spurned trader left bitterly, threatening to spread vicious rumors about Amaka's virtue. True to his word, the trader spun false tales of intimacy with Amaka. Gossip spread like wildfire that she had betrayed her ghost husband. Amaka vehemently denied this, but the damage was done. She became an outcast, avoided and ostracized. Only Amaka's parents stood by her. They were saddened to see their daughter so isolated even within her hometown. So they hatched a plan to start a new life elsewhere. One night, Amaka's parents packed up her belongings, including her spear. They quietly left the village where Amaka had spent her whole life. It pained her to leave under such circumstances, but she had faith that finding a new home with understanding people was the right choice. After traveling many days, Amaka and her parents came upon a bustling village where no one knew their past. They rented a hut, and Amaka again carefully tended to her spear, speaking softly to Chibuzo's spirit within. Weeks passed, and Amaka kept to herself, still shy from the gossip. But the villagers noticed her loving devotion to the carved spear she always carried. Curious, they asked her parents privately about the odd tradition. Amaka's parents shared the full tale of Chibuzo's death, the witch doctor's enchantment, and Amaka's steadfast commitment to her ghost husband. The villagers were moved by this romance from beyond the grave. They embraced Amaka immediately. Instead of judgment, Amaka found a new community that celebrated her steadfast love. At last, she made true friends who brought her on social outings and warmly included her in daily life. Amaka was grateful for this second chance. In time, Amaka blossomed again into the joyful, vibrant woman she had once been. The spear, and Chibuzo's watchful spirit within, had seen her through grief to a rejuvenated life. On her deathbed many years later, Amaka thanked her ghost husband for giving her this gift. She passed the spear to her dearest friend, asking that it be buried alongside her when the time came. Moments later, Amaka peacefully breathed her last. At her funeral, the villagers laid Amaka's spear to rest with her body, uniting her forever with her true love. Their spirits reunited in death, just as their hearts had never parted in life. Amaka's devotion was celebrated for generations in the village that had embraced her. So ends the tale of the girl who married a ghost, proof that true love transcends even the barrier between life and afterlife. Where there is deep devotion, the spirit always finds a way.